whole thing is upside down. Look, you got the central banks that are continuing to go on a gold buying spree. They see what is coming. And yesterday morning in Shanghai, when the market opened up, $112 an ounce higher premium gold spot than in the West. They understand what is coming. They are trying to siphon all of the gold, all of it.
Andy Schectman, CEO of Miles Franklin, delivers a vital message. It's crucial to prepare for financial turmoil. He highlights economic, financial, and geopolitical indicators of an impending crisis. Traditional financial instruments may not be as safe as believed, and he advocates holding assets outside the system. Central banks' increased gold purchases signal the urgency. In uncertain times, Schectman's advice urges us to align with the most informed investors and secure our financial future. So watch this informative video till the end.
To be here done again, the world is spinning out of control. You know, we talk about that all the time, how when we started doing this, it was just little by little. Things would change, and now it's little by little by little by little by little by little by little, and it's increasing in magnitude, it's increasing in severity, whether you're talking home or the atrocities going on around the world that the U.S. just seems to have their finger in. I don't know. It's a scary time. $3-4 trillion in uninsured deposits. Just the four big commercial banks: J.P. Morgan, Citibank, Wells Fargo, Bank of America. Those four banks alone have 59% of the uninsured deposits, are over $4.185 trillion. You think there's a problem brewing under the surface? I would say yes. How about the fact that the bond market is getting clobbered? That the 10-year Treasury will go down as one of the worst, if not the worst, bloodbaths in bond market history. It's down over almost 50% just since March of 2020, and rates are still rising. Don't know. How about the fact that the U.S. has come closest to defaulting, maybe the closest they've come to defaulting in decades or in ever, on their debt? And again, kicking the can down the road further and further, or the fact that we remove a Speaker of the House for the first time in history, or now this awful war, the second war that we're now involved in Israel and with Palestinians. I mean, it's breaking out, and the U.S. is now sending aircraft carriers and airplanes to defend Israel. How about the fact that the mortgage rates have hit the highest level since 2000? How about what happened in Hawaii, or what happened in Ohio, East Palestine, Ohio? How about OPEC with their voluntary production cuts, more and more production cuts, and oil at the highest level ever? Pensions are in big trouble as the economy slows. Or how about the fact that in your 55 and older community, ask people one question: do you know what a bail-in is? Most people don't. That was written into law. You have to be out of the system at this point. If you are not, if you are in the system and you are entrenched in dollars and in the system, you're in big trouble. There is no safety anymore. FDIC, the coverage that everyone relies upon, has $125 billion in assets backing $18 trillion in deposits. The whole thing is upside down. Look, you got the central banks that are continuing to go on a gold buying spree. They see what is coming. And yesterday morning in Shanghai, when the market opened up, $112 an ounce higher premium gold spot than in the West. They understand what is coming. They are trying to siphon all of the gold, all of it, out of the West and move it towards China. You have to do what the biggest, most well-funded but well-informed investors on the planet are doing, and that is continuing to accumulate. The central banks purchased another 77 tons in August. It's a 38% increase over July. Over and over again, we keep saying the biggest money in the world is doing this. And I think that if you are not a contrarian, as our friend Rick Rule says, you're bound to be a victim. This is time to start reevaluating. Even the best laid plans sometimes need to be reevaluated, and this is one of those sometimes. Yeah, I'm glad you say that, because that maybe that's what allows me to be calm when people are getting upset about the counterintuitive behavior of gold and silver. First of all, gold and silver represent more than just wealth. They represent the antithesis to the Western system, the frailty of the system. But the big money, the sophisticated money, the central banks, the commercial banks, they understand what it truly is. It is wealth. But because, as I've shared with you and your audience before, when I started this company, my father told me I'll buy some gold and silver every 2 weeks. It's the only rule that I have to follow. 33 years ago when we started this company, and I told you that I've honored that promise to him, even though I own the company, I've honored that promise and have purchased every 2 weeks for 33 years. I've never missed a 2 week period. To me, it is wealth. It's not an investment. And yes, I'm very hyper aware of its ups and downs, but it doesn't bother me because to me, it is my wealth. And when I take a step back and look at the risk involved in owning dollar-based assets at this stage of the game, bottom of the ninth inning, maybe in a Keynesian system that has failed and is now being exposed, and we can see the transition to one based moving away from debt instruments and promises to commodities and hard assets and transparency. It becomes very easy for me to feel comfortable with these ups and downs, to look at the downs as the stupidity of the West giving me and the East a subsidy to accumulate real wealth. That's the way you need to look at it. It's not an investment. It is wealth. And in times like we face right now, where all the things I just mentioned spinning faster and faster, one of them is going to break. Don't know which one, probably one that we're not even thinking about. And when that happens, there's no time to blow up your life raft. You're in the water already. And I say this stuff, and I hate being pessimistic about the future. There's a fine line between pessimism and realism, but it's time to put on our big boy pants and realize that the world is moving in a direction that is rather different from what we've experienced over the last 20, 30 years. I mean, there's been chaos forever, right? I'm not naive to say that every generation doesn't have their own chaos, but this one seems a little bit more acute, a little bit more accelerated, and a little bit different, at least anything that I've experienced in my 53 years. So yeah, I think it's never been more important to accumulate metal right now, because I don't know where else to put your money that gives you liquidity, safety, flexibility, and the ability to pick it up and go if you have to, wherever that go may be. But to me, I take great comfort in it. And I hope one or two people out there who are listening to this too. And I'm not talking my book. I'm trying to be as sincere as I can as a father of 3 kids. I think it's time for people to wake up that things are going to start to get worse before they get better. And we haven't even seen the problems with the banks yet. Wait, before the end of the year, this will be our topic. And one last thing, and then we'll talk about the special and let you run. I think the nastiest buzz phrase that we will all grow to hate over the next several months or years will be counterparty risk. The ability to remove that counterparty risk is something that I find very valuable about gold and silver, as Doug Casey has made famous, is saying gold and silver are assets that are not simultaneously someone else's liability. This will become a big problem as the economy gets worse and things get worse. People will not be able to service and or uphold their end of the bargain. So yeah, I think it's never been more important done again.
Andy Schectman's urgent call for financial preparedness serves as a stark reminder of the current economic landscape. As traditional financial safety nets come into question, his advice to diversify and secure assets beyond the conventional system is timely and prudent. The actions of central banks and well-informed investors underscore the importance of this message. In these uncertain times, it's wise to heed this counsel and take proactive steps to safeguard your financial future. What do you think about today's video? Share your views in the comments and subscribe for more videos. Thank you.